Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Rule the Waves 3 with me, Mega and Kaiserliche Marine, the navy of the German Empire that we are playing. So in the previous episode we've had a massive success with the Battle of the Gulf of Finland, I think it was called, where we have sank quite a lot of enemy ships, including 2 battleships, which is amazing. One of our battleships itself got heavily damaged, Deutsche Kaiser class, Friedrich III. It's going to be in repair for 4 more months. And Victoria, Louise, Irene, Isabel, and Medusa are going to be for 1 more month out of service in repairs. We have also designed the König von Preußen heavy cruiser for ourselves. It's going to be ready in 2 months. And the V1 destroyer class is being already constructed in 4 examples: V1, V2, V3, and V4. These are going to be the first destroyers that we will have. They will operate in the Baltic Sea, but we're going to keep building more and start distributing them along our colonies because they will serve us well as patrol ships and possible raiders. Though I don't really have that much experience, honestly, with raiding with destroyers. I tend to prefer light cruisers, even if smaller, but they seem to perform better for me. So we'll see. You know, this is a learning experience for me quite significantly. What I also wanted to mention is that we are currently at 22 prestige, which is amazing. We're getting it, of course, from the battles and the victories, and this will give us a lot of extra wiggle room in the upcoming years after the war, where we can, you know, burn some of it to pursue whatever goals we will feel like. Now, with that said, I expect Russia to start the peace talks again. They might give us colonies or something, because the amount of victory points that we have compared to them is quite significant, and it's gonna get only higher. Now, the war can go for as long as the AI is stubborn. We can get to 20,000, 30,000 victory points. But the bigger the difference, the harder it's going to be for them to not get general unrest. You can say that we already have 3, and for them it must be much worse. If you get 10, I think, or higher, it will topple your government. So I've never seen that actually happen, but I know that the AI can be, you know, stubborn in certain situations. So let's end the turn and see what the game will throw at us at this time. It's a cruiser action. We have, and okay, it's in Germany, small battle. We have 5 light cruisers, and they have 6 heavy cruisers and 2 light cruisers and 1 armed merchant in the area. Unexpected battle. Okay. So, estimated enemy forces in the area. So we have only 2. Okay, we have only 2 ships, small ones. These are Amazona and Electra. Those are, yeah, they're Geffions, so the smallest ones, 5-inch guns if I remember correctly. And we have a Japanese Izumo cruiser supporting us, which is really big, 8,100 tons. But I'm worried if they have 6 heavy cruisers, light cruisers, and armed merchant in the area, that might not go well for us. But we'll see. If we can find the Japanese cruiser, which I believe is right over there. Is it? Yes, it's right over there. We can join it, and hopefully together we can repel any kind of attack. Ideally, we might even just avoid the enemy completely, because this is not exactly a good thing. And, you know, it's onto us, quite honestly, because we have, okay, unknown ship sighted. We have known very well that our forces in Germany are weak, because we are concentrating all of our ships in the Baltic, trying to fight their main fleet. So it's not really something that we are not familiar with. Okay, so you guys go here. And whatever this ship is, it's coming right at us. It's a light cruiser. Okay. And it seems to be just one. I haven't checked the time. No, in 5 minutes. Flora class. It has 8-inch guns, 6-inch guns. So it is still, even though it's just slightly bigger, it is still way bigger than we are. Jesus Christ, how did they fit all of these guns on a ship this size? So we need to find that Japanese cruiser and have it join. Okay, and there's more of them coming. So without the... Okay, here it is. Okay. So what do you have? 14 6-inch guns, 8 3-inch guns. Okay, so this is looking fairly good. Let's try to join up with it. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good. We need to avoid them here. That's just too many. Okay, yeah, it's under AI control. Do we have any... Okay, we have a support, possible support over here. A 4-inch, no, 6-inch gun battery and a 4-inch gun battery. Is there an 8-inch gun battery somewhere? No. Further south? No, those are 6. Well, I mean, 6-inch gun would be enough. There's a port here, so we can actually retreat. I'm not really happy with this. It's a 4-inch one, yeah, we're not great. So I checked all of them, didn't I? Yeah, it's a 6-inch one. So best bet would be to just sail towards Wilhelmshaven and see if we can join up with that coastal defense force. Oh wait, I need to select my ships. Okay, they're following us, which is in a way pretty good. But as this is just a cruiser action, unless they hit us, they didn't. We should even be fine here. Why is Zuma sailing there? What's up with that? We need to keep together, guys. I wish I could ask you to attach to me, but generally speaking, we should attach to you just based on the ship sizes, because both of my ships are smaller than one of yours. But they have just 6-inch guns, and the ship that was following us was 8-inch. So I wonder if we should just risk it. I hope that we inflict more damage. Ah, it's turning, okay. So now that it saw that we are not following it, it's turning to us, okay. We don't have that much time. Did we lose you? What the hell is it? Yeah, I feel like we lost the Izumo. Never mind. It's 1448. Hopefully it's not fighting with them. That wouldn't be prudent. But yeah, this is one of those situations where we are just severely outgunned. Oh, it's already getting dark? 15:45, that's interesting. I mean, it is December, you know, specifically, that's... I should keep that in mind. Considering... Yeah, we lost them. Okay, I think that's fine. Hopefully nothing is gonna come out of this. It's just a small battle. So, you know, not much to report on here. Trains to Queen grades. So, I'll just go to cruise speed now. We can chill. So, unless they're following us somehow, we will be fine. Let's lower your speed to a minimum. And I'll just park here. I can only hope that Izumo is not fighting them somewhere and getting sank. That would be unfortunate, but not much we can do with it. I'm not gonna throw 2 of my ships and the enemy when there is no point. So just stop. Yeah, okay. So, yep, that was a draw. Yeah, they had 4 heavy cruisers and 1 light cruiser. We had 1 heavy cruiser and 2 light cruisers. There's nothing we can do with that. Unless we baited them to go to the batteries, and that would mean keeping... Yeah, this was just much better, generally speaking. So, nothing happened there. New training applied! Nice! So now we will have better gunnery. And we get a research breakthrough in torpedo technology. It can now go at 25 knots for 800 or at 15 knots to 2,000 yards. In an engagement in Northeast Asia between the Japanese and Russian navies, the Russian ship corvette Vestnik has been sunk. Nice. And we sank more of their trade than they did of ours. And that's it for this turn. So, new training applied. We got some intelligence from Great Britain. The government of Great Britain has increased naval spending to keep its navy preeminent. Contra Admiral Love is promoted to Admiral. Captain Sir Riemann of heavy cruiser Fürst Bismarck, average good administrator, is promoted to Contra Admiral and placed in command of the 2nd Home Fleet. Captain Sir Bechte is placed in command of heavy cruiser Fürst Bismarck. Captain Sir Riemann, average good administrator, is placed in command of Home Fleet 2nd Support. So a lot of people moving around. We got a research breakthrough, an engagement in Northeast Asia, and we sank a lot of trade. And we have more ships in Indian Ocean. Okay, so it's not much new with that. Okay, tensions with other nations have dropped. With Russia, they're still very high. And we have a positive monthly balance now. Good, good, good. And it's January 1900. So welcome to the 20th century, everyone. We have made it. It has been a long 10 years, but we've done good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go and update the report. And we're going to see about it. Before we do, though, I wanted to mention one thing. Because we got the new 12-inch guns in the previous episode, we're currently still building the Elbe of the Donau class. It's going to be done in 10 months. But what's important is that we can redesign our current ship. I think we won't be able to upgrade the guns on the Donau. If I go to open design for rebuild. Yes, quality -2 guns cannot be improved. Okay, so we need to keep these as they are. But for the future ships, when we design well, actually we don't have to design a new ship. We can just take the Donau itself and we can upgrade the guns to -1 quality, which is going to be significantly better. I'm going to actually check how much better. So right now we have 10,830 yards range, and penetration at 10,000 is 4.45, and at 1,000 yards 7.62, and if we upgrade it, it's 8.61. The range increases to 11,732 yards, and at that distance it is still higher at 475. So these guns are just so much better. Plus, because of all of the upgrades and everything, we got 602 tons of weight remaining, which means we could potentially increase the speed. Or we could go and add, wow, entire 2 more inches of armor to our belt. Or I could add an inch to the belt, an inch to the guns. I don't think we have torpedo defense to be... Actually, do we? No, we didn't. Okay, I was just wondering why it's showing me the stats, but yeah, that, and I could even go ahead and have the upper belt, extended belt, and turret top increase, and I could still throw in a couple more shells. So yeah, we could definitely make this ship even better. But you can see how it starts creating a little bit of a mess because we already have a number of rebuilds. Each one of these is slightly different, and if you start building a little bit of a different Donau class, then you now have like 2 Donaus and 3 Donaus and so on. So you have to be a little bit varied to keep managing your ships accordingly, because it is important to have everything set correctly. Actually, that just reminded me, did we have a fire control on the Donau, or did I have to refit them? No, we don't. Okay, so that's actually something that we also need to put in there. So it's gonna be most likely a belt, third top, extended belt, upper belt, and yeah, something like this, I guess, would be much better. So a little bit of an upgrade to the armor. Oh, and better guns, of course. Better guns. I'll have to double check myself with everything when we're preparing the upgraded. But yeah, again, you need to be aware of what you're doing with your ships and how you're acting with them and what you're doing, because it is, you know, kind of important to have a good amount of grasp on your ships. So, like, we know that a lot of our ships need to be upgraded to the rangefinders. So once the war is over, that's going to be the major thing for us. We need that. We know that all of the new ships are going to have to be built with it, and you know, so on and so on and so on. So there's a ton of things that you want to do with your ships and how you want to design them. Okay, so right now I'm going to jump to the update that I will create right now, and then we're probably going to do 1 more month depending on how long the upgrade is going to how long the update is going to take. Here we are with the next report on the state of the Navy, this one for the year 1900. I did not expect it, but turns out our war with Russia did not escalate any of our relations. On the contrary, it actually led to a decrease in tensions with Great Britain and France. Great Britain dropped to 6 and France dropped to 3, which means that currently we are in a really nice spot. We have an alliance with Austria-Hungary and Japan. We have perfect relations with the United States. And with Italy, Great Britain, and Spain, we have strained relations. So it is not at all bad. What is bad, though, is the fact that I completely missed that Austria-Hungary is very close to a war with Italy. And if that happens, we are going to be 100% called to war. Now, I would love to join that war, but it has one major issue, and that's the fact that we cannot fight a war on 2 fronts. We're doing very good in our war with Russia, but war with Italy on the side of Austria-Hungary would mean that we either ignore it, which is a possibility, or we send part of our navy to Mediterranean. Ideally, we would end our war with Russia and then join the one with Italy. That would be amazing, because then we could do quite a lot of damage and maybe even contain Italy in the Mediterranean while keeping some of our fleet in the Baltic and northern Germany. We would have to see. I'm really hoping, though, that it's not going to happen. If it happens, though, I might just ignore it for now and, join to choose later, because they still have Japan and the United States as allies, which could help in the early stages of the fight, and we can join later. But it would be really hard for me to do that because, I really hate rejecting calls to war. It just feels low, and I can imagine that they're counting on us. On the other hand, we already are at war, which Austria-Hungary didn't join. So, yeah. The good news is that... actually, no. I was just looking at what... Now, that's interesting. Italy has an alliance with the United States. So, United States are actually allied with both Austria-Hungary and Italy. I did not notice that before. So, who would they join? That's an interesting question, which I have no answer to. So in the end, it could be... Wow. It could be everybody against Italy, or Italy and United States against Austria-Hungary, Germany, and Japan. That is a massive war. Oh God, let's hope that's not going to happen, because we already are at war, and I cannot do another one. As far as tonnage per nations go, this was a fairly slow year, I would say. For us, we added 6,000 tons. Great Britain added 13,400 tons. France added 17,600 tons. Italy added measly 300. USA added 16,000. Austria-Hungary added 2,100. Japan added 2,700. And Spain added 1,500. So we're somewhere in the middle. However, the important part is that Russia lost 51,300 tons this year. I'm not saying it's only because of us. Japan has done a lot, but we basically sank 1/6 of their navy within 1 year, despite the fact that they probably have a heavy program to build new ships. That is absolutely brutal, and I love that we were so successful. When we look at the war, I actually decided to remove the battles because honestly it was too much hassle to write them all down, and the list would be so big, because if the war took us through 2 or 3 years, then we would have 36 battles. Not really important. What is important though are the losses. It is super hard, and that's on me to track the losses incurred from Japan. So I decided that we're going to track just the ones between us and the enemy. And we have lost no ships. We had some heavily damaged, and when it comes to Friedrich III, that ship has nearly sank, but it didn't. On the other side, Russia lost 2 battleships to us, 3 light cruisers, 3 destroyers, and a corvette. I'm actually kind of surprised that we haven't sunk any heavy cruisers. I thought we did, but we didn't. Just 3 light cruisers. But now that our Navy is becoming a bit more proficient with the rangefinders and the Donau class ship fully in service, and the second one coming next, I think we will pretty much push for more major encounters, hoping that we can sink more ships. So we're going to see whether or not Russia is going to give up or surrender to us. It doesn't seem like it will right now, but if we continue with this amount of destruction, by next year, it is very likely that Russia would fall below Italy, Germany, United States, and maybe even Austria-Hungary, depending on how much they will build next year. So their navy is becoming nearly secondary if it's gonna continue, if this amount of destruction is going to continue. I also think that it's worth mentioning though that like 95% or more ships are now located in the Baltic and Germany, or the area north of Germany. I think it's called Northern Sea. I don't remember, but so Japan doesn't really have too many opportunities to help in this. It's gonna be mostly us, so we need to be prepared for some heavy fighting. As far as tonnage comparison goes, you can see that the growth has slowed down for pretty much everyone, with the huge drop in in Russia's performance. Yeah, they're very close to being overtaken by Italy. As far as tonnage comparison goes, we actually did so much destruction on the. And I know that Japan actually lost a lot of ships as well. They didn't how much tons did they add it? Yeah, only 2,700. So I know that they lost 3, 4, maybe even 5 ships. I don't remember exactly. But the overall destruction actually means that the tonnage increased by something like 10,000 tons overall. So this is like a first year where we actually see almost a level situation. Though you can see that the share of Russia is shrinking very much. Everybody else is just increasing their share of the pie. Here you can see it even better. The difference between 1890 and 1900, you can see all of it listed here. We are closing on 10% of the total share of the Navy tonnage. Great Britain dropped to 24.78%. France actually is oscillating near 15%. And I think that USA and Austria-Hungary actually gained quite a lot this year. For everybody else, it was, just a slow growth or even a shrinkage. In case of Russia, they're dropping from original 15.68% to 11.24%, and it's going to only continue to drop, hopefully, for as long as this war continues. As far as economy and budget goes, we are in a very good spot. We had a 4.2% increase in overall. 2.82% increase in overall yearly and monthly budget. We have managed to lower our total expenses below the income, which is great. And we have a little bit of funds at hand, but we are not doing very good at that department, which is why I rated our current situation by A-. Everything else is great, but the fact that we have only about 4% of our yearly budget saved is making me a little nervous, and we need to save up a little more money. I might actually do a couple of months of low. Once the ships are finished, I will not put any more into construction so that we get to at least 12,000-13,000 maybe, because I would like to have a little bit more at hand. You can also see that the trend line is showing us that the past 2 years we have been significantly over where we should be. So after the war ends, we can see a big drop or I estimate a big drop in our budget. God knows to where it's gonna drop, because the original tensions that we had got us pretty high, and then it just sort of leveled for a couple of years, then it went up, and then we had that big jump in 1899. So we're gonna have to see how the situation is gonna go. But considering the fact that our ship cost is still only about 38% of our budget, any kind of drop in our yearly funds can be taken out of construction or stuff like that, and also training, which we're paying now 6.21% for. It's 905 monthly, but other than that, I think we are doing pretty good. Fortifications budget increased slightly as well, because we finished the 8-inch guns in East Prussia and was it Germany? I'm not sure whether we did in Germany and we also built one in the Chinese concession area. So yeah, overall really good money situation. I'm happy with what we're seeing here. I just hope that the budget will continue to increase, because we keep spewing ships, and now that we get destroyers available and the König von Preußen is coming, we will need to have a lot of ships working, being worked at, and coming out of the dockyard in the upcoming years. Here's the yearly budget. You can see that it increased, as we said here. As far as research goes, as the next big category, we had quite a lot of breakthroughs this year. We had 2 breakthroughs in machine development, 1 in armor development, 1 in turret and gun mountings, 1 in light forces and torpedoes, and 1 in torpedo technology. Plus, we get a -1 quality 12-inch guns now available. So, overall, a very good year as far as research goes. It is no wonder that we have, 500, 600 free tons now on the Donau class, because, with the, as I said, compounding gains, 2% from machine development, 1% from armor development, 1% from turrets and gun mounting, so it really stacks up into huge savings in tonnage. Where we haven't gotten any level yet is submarines. I'm expecting that to come very soon. I wanted to also say that the way the guns are set up for us right now seems really good. We're going to continue using the 12-inch guns as our primaries. The secondaries are going to be 8-inch guns, and tertiary guns are going to be 3-inch guns. For the cruisers, it looks like 8-inch guns and 3-inch guns seems like the best choice for now, with a possibility of adding more heavy guns later on. As far as fleet overview goes, we grew again. We now have 8 battleships with 1 in construction, 10 heavy cruisers. None are currently being constructed, but that's because we don't have the König von Preußen ready yet. And we're building 1 light cruiser, and we have 14 in service. We have a new category available, which is the destroyers. We have 4 in construction, no are currently in the fleet, and we're still building 4 corvettes, and we have 7 in operation. As far as the growth of the Navy goes, again, we see a definite linear trend in growth. I'm really hoping that we are going to be able to keep that up. It might jump up in the upcoming years, though, because, we're going to be spewing out cheap, quick destroyers, which might actually, seem to artificially increase the amount of ships that we have. It's a question whether a destroyer or a corvette can be considered a full-blown ship. I mean, a couple of destroyers can take down a battleship, no problem, but a battleship can destroy a destroyer with 1 good hit. So, it's a question, but it is a different type of ship, and we need to incorporate them into our fleet. There is not much to say for the Weissenbergs. They will have to be rebuilt once more very soon to be able to stay in their colonial service. But we'll have to do 2 things. First, we need to end the war. And then after we rebuild them, we are going to put them to reserve, because this ship is just not going to do us any good. They will be accompanied by the destroyers in the colonies. That's the plan since the beginning, which should provide a good screen for them. Otherwise, we're going to just see what's going to happen with them in the later parts. They are definitely on their way to be mothballed soon and probably scrapped, because I cannot really see them being effective in any way. Though, another rebuild is possible. It's just a question whether or not it's worth it. The Deutsche Kaiser class battleships, all of them have been rebuilt. They all now have the central rangefinder, though we have 2 distinct refits for them. As we're not planning to build any more, apart from the 4 that we already have, we might just want to improve on them later on 1 more time during the peacetime, see if we can add some, change the engines and stuff like that, because they could be definitely a little bit faster. If we could get an extra knot cheaply to them, it would be a good idea to do so. But I'm not sure if that's possible. We'll have to see. Because changing all of their machinery would be quite expensive. The Donau class is an interesting conundrum. We already have the Donau itself rebuilt. The Elba is coming out this year in 1900, most likely in November, and it will need to be rebuilt again, at which point we are going to redesign the Donau to, well, it's still going to be a Donau, but it's going to be a different subclass of Donau. I'm probably going to call it Donau Refit or something like that, to establish a different parallel construction class, and then we'll just have to make sure that they are at least equivalent. The third now, with the improved guns, improved machinery, improved armor, is going to become the pride of the fleet. It's going to be the main ship in the Navy, and it's going to go into the division with the Deutsche Kaiser class battleships. These Donau and Elbe will be relegated to leading König von Preußen heavy squadrons, and probably be accompanying us in. Well, one of them is going to be stationed probably in the North Germany. I'll have to see. We'll have to see. But yeah, they're going to be relegated to secondary flagships because the third of the class is going to be our main, our biggest ship and our flagship. König von Preußen here, we have a placeholder for it. Basically, it's still being worked on as a design study, so I'm gonna fill it when I have access to it. Hertha class, Victoria Luis, not much to say. Fierce Bismarck, all of these ships will need to be rebuilt after the war in shifts, and we need to give them all the central rangefinder and see if we can improve on them a little bit more. Same for the Webex class. We're building still Wismar, which should come in March this year, after which we are most likely going to put 2 more into construction. But again, the new ones are going to be Webeck refits, and we're going to rework these ones. The refits could, they're going to come with the rangefinder, and we'll see if we have a little bit of savings elsewhere. We might improve. Actually, honestly, if I'm 100% honest, I would like to equip them with 8-inch guns. It's still going to be the Webeck class, but we might call it something like, the 8-inch guns would be much better. It would be much better. So we'll have to see. The Gazelle class, Hella class, those need to be changed. Gaffions have all been refitted already, with the exception of the actual first ship of the class, Gaffion, which also needs to get the rangefinder. Thetis class we don't need to talk about. Here's the V1 class. We're building 4 of them, and once they're done, we're going to build 4 more. I'm really happy with this design. It has excellent speed, decent firepower. It's very cheap. Great escort for battleships. The starting point is to build 10. It says by 1900. That is an issue and a typo. It should say 1905. So we'll see if we can build 10 of these. It would be pretty good to have them. Again, good raiders, good fleet support scouts. I'm looking forward to incorporating them in the fleet. What needs to be said, though, is that they're paper thin. They have no defense at all, so a single shot can sink them. But again, they're mostly to work as screens and basically suicide bombers. They have 3 central-line torpedo launchers, so if they get close to any kind of battleships, they can torpedo them pretty quickly. The Columbia class, August People class, and Delphin class are going to be mothballed pretty much immediately once we can switch to the Frederica class corvettes, which should be finally coming. These ships have been in construction for years now. It's insane, and they're still not finished, but all of them should come in the first half of 1900. Bases and fortifications, we can see that we have no changes here when it comes to the naval bases, but as far as coastal fortifications go, we have achieved quite a big improvement. As I mentioned, the Yeltung Peninsula now has an 8-inch coastal battery, and so it's Eastern Germany and East Prussia each have an 8-inch coastal battery. We need to put one in Germany itself, and I would like to fit another 8-inch coastal battery on all of my colonies and all of my core territories. So we're gonna see if that is possible. And last but not least, the officer corps. When you look at it, we didn't have much changes. The naval officer corps is growing. We now have 10 admirals, 1 fleet admiral, 10 admirals, 4 contra-admirals. We have 30 capitaines Source, and we have 17 fregatten capitains. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to continue with the growth of the Navy. We are a little bit top heavy. We have a lot of admirals, but that's mostly because they serve in the positions. We have a lot of colonies. We have a lot of divisional groups that were, they are in position of command. And what I'm not happy with is the amount of below average officers that we have. Like for Captain Suzav, we have 30 and 1/3 of them is below average. I mean, thinking about it, it is a weighted mean, because if you have 30, 10 should be above average, 10 should be average, and 10 should be below average. Or something like 5 above average, 20 average, 5 below average. Still, it feels like we have a lot of suboptimal captains, admirals, and, everyone's. So we'll see. I mean, we have the academy just for a couple of years, and the war should also help with their skills. So hopefully we can see some improvements. Even the below average ones are actually doing good. And some of our ships have gotten to elite quality of crew. So, let's hope for the best. Okay, and that's the end of the report. It's January 1900. And actually, due to the length of this review, which was quite longer than I expected, but, we had a lot to cover, I'm going to end the episode here. In the next one, we're going to play January 1900, and we're going to play probably even February, depending on what kind of battles we are going to encounter. So for now, thank you very much for joining me. I greatly enjoyed it. I believe that the Kaiserliche Marine has nothing to be ashamed of. We started very weak, but we keep building up. We keep proving ourselves. And if we can continue with this trend and just keep making good designs, use the new technology that we get optimally, if we can stay at the top of the technological progress, I think we will prove more than capable of taking any navy that the world can throw at us. Not Great Britain though. Not Great Britain. But everybody else I'm willing to take.